It appears that organizations like the Greater Victoria Coalition to End Homelessness and Kool-Aid Society are having people start to resign. Ever since these entities have been starting to get exposed by ex-employees, the homeless and organizations like Victoria BC Profits.ca, people in these organizations have started resigning. Even organizations like the Coalition to End Homelessness have completely changed their name to Alliance to End Homelessness in the Capital Region, which is odd behavior altogether, but it's for a reason. The homeless themselves speak up at the fraud these people and organizations commit, taking advantage of those who they claim to serve. Clearly the money they generate does not go to the homeless or affect them in any way, and the homeless are now exposing this themselves through websites like Victoria BC Profits. It's sickening, but they like to put on a show of all the things they are doing and raising all this money. It's nothing but a pyramid scheme, and people are starting to figure it out. Homelessness is being made into a business and the money they generate goes nowhere but in their pockets. When you become homeless for the first time in Victoria BC is when you find this out to be true yourself, and until you become homeless yourself, you'll never know or have the evidence. The way these people play these roles in these organizations is very organized, well thought out and structured. These complexities are added as another layer of security and anonymity for them from the public of what's really going on in this city around homelessness, all since Victoria BC Profits was created and started campaigning against these organizations, calling out actual individuals of organizations or people who work for them with these homelessness, mental health and addiction related entities. For example, the following article: the Victoria Kool-Aid Society is announcing that longtime Chief Executive Officer, Kathy Stinson, will retire in May 2023. The Victoria Kool-Aid Society is announcing that longtime Chief Executive Officer, Kathy Stinson, will retire in May 2023. This was soon after these organizations and criminals started getting exposed for fraud and abuse of power over those they claim to serve. They are predators, like Janine Theobald, that was with the coalition and now has shifted to mental health. Mental Health Recovery Partners MHRP.circa. It's a pattern. They jump org to org. Homelessness to mental health to addiction. Remember? They prey on the weak. That's because her and the coalition just recently were exposed, which compromised her position and what they're really doing with the coalition. So they changed their name in a desperate attempt to keep their reputation, because that means everything in the business that's in it for money. The well has run dry in the homelessness field. No one wants to donate or support anymore because they now see, and the frauds running these organizations have exhausted hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars, and hardly made an effect in any homeless person's life in any real significant way. It's not misuse of funding, it's flat out intentional fraud by design, systematically on a mass scale. Just ask the homeless themselves. But no one ever does that, do they? No. But why not? The media tries to make the homeless seem like the problem and seem like they're dangerous, so you won't approach them and talk to them to learn the truth. You don't go into the homeless shelters to see the inhumane conditions, homeless being stocked up like cattle and charge $600 per month at the Salvation Army, forced to pay that amount to live in a dorm with 30 other men in bunk beds, or be refused a bed with bed bugs, jail showers, food that looks good, but gets you sick and keeps you sick, so the people running these places can keep the beds filled, which keeps the money coming, and in order to do that, the problem must also remain. If you solve the problem, there is no need for a solution, no need for their $200K per year salaries and hundreds of millions of dollars they generate around homelessness, but little to nothing goes to the actual homeless person. They stay stuck with less than their basic needs, but millions get generated. And then those who get housed and become stable for over a year have no opportunity or employment programs in the city to keep them stable and give them a pathway into the working industry or teach them how to get employed, even into a related field considering their lived experience. They create and keep all the jobs for themselves. Those who have never even been homeless, some create fake lived experience stories as a defense mechanism to secure themselves in the work they Apparently do, so they can keep raising money to pocket for the cause they do nothing to help. Says who? All the homeless in Victoria, BC for the last 10 years plus. BC is nothing but a vulture den for governments and elite wealthy and greedy people that try to profit from the weak and take advantage of the innocent. Just a bunch of predators preying on the homeless, mentally ill, disabled, elderly and those suffering from addiction. Creating a drug culture that allows drugs to flow freely because governments are profiting from the drug trade, and it keeps people trapped permanently in addiction and creates new users rapidly. Keeping the revenue flow from the drug trade flowing as the government slowly takes over the street drug traders they already own the pharmaceutical industry. BC is one of the most cowardly places in the country. The suburbs but wants to be gangster, the wealthy take advantage of the poor and make millions off of homelessness. Billions off mental health and addiction combined with that. The BC government is extremely corrupt and involved in many crimes. They are the mafia, the cartel, the gangsters. Canada is corrupt like other countries, just in different, more silent and sneaky, even complex ways. In Canada, Ottawa, and Victoria, BC are the heads of the beast. This is why they need to be exposed and cut off first. You guys can use take last names on Facebook, change the names of your pyramid scheme businesses exploiting the homeless. You can run and try to enter new related fields and act like nothing happened. You can resign when you realize you're finally being exposed for fraud and are at risk of investigation or ridicule from the public, so that way you can escape prosecution or accountability. And exit looking like a hero before the org gets taken down. Everyone's abandoning ship. We're just getting started. Much more evidence will be released, more people will be exposed.